Humans definitely have been empowered with the ability to rethink and reimagine their lives and their circumstances. We spoke about transforming our pain on our last chapter, and we were talking about how important it is to see pain and trials and difficulties as platform of healing and transformation, of places that could become comforting places for other people in the future as we go through them and develop that sense of purpose and the sense of God's presence in our lives, and how we can bless others with our own journey. I would like to also ask you today to think about, an important issue that is spoken to us, and on chapter 4 of Exodus. It's interesting that on chapter 4, Moses is responding to God. God is calling Moses on chapter 3. And on chapter 4, verse 1, Moses answered, "What if they do not believe or listen to me and say, 'The Lord did not appear to you'?" So Moses having this struggle with God's calling. And God said to him, then the Lord said to him, "What is that in your hand? What is it that you have in your hand?" And Moses replied, "Staff," and it's a staff. He replied, just basically the tool that I use to do my shepherding work, right? And then the Lord said, throw it into the ground. And we know the story that it became, a snake, and Moses were actually running away from it. And God has a great humor and a way to bring ourselves into the main point that he's trying to make in our lives, which is basically calling us to make a contribution that we were empowered to do. Moses has been trained as a prince. He was trained as a farmer, a shepherd, somebody who learned how to deal with people and challenging circumstances and challenging projects. And now God is calling this gentleman to do something remarkable, to deliver the people of God in Egypt, the people who were enslaved in Egypt. And then Moses, basically said, "Yes, I will go." But you are surprised, and I will be surprised too, when he, instead of going directly to Egypt, obviously, he just go directly to his father-in-law. What an interesting thing, that he will go directly to his father-in-law. That's a very responsible human being who has this great calling from this great God, and instead of just going, and just leaving everything behind and go, no, he has the ability to think about the importance of commitments, and he goes directly to his father-in-law and says basically this, verse 18. Then Moses went back to Jethro, his father-in-law, and said to him, "Let me return to my own people in Egypt to see if any of them are still alive." So he knew that he was under the authority of Jethro. He asked for his blessing, his permission, and here's what he finds. Jethro said, "Go, I wish you well. Go in peace," basically. You know what? I don't know if Moses was still hoping that Jethro would say no, but Jethro said a remarkable yes. And I want you to remember that when we are following God's call, there are people that will oppose us, but we will find remarkable yeses and remarkable support along the way. So verse 19 says that the Lord has said to Moses in Midian, "Go back to Egypt, for all those who wanted to kill you are dead." So God is also making sure that Moses is not dealing with his ghosts. He's worried about his past. He doesn't have to be worried anymore because God has taken care of his past. By the way, God has taken care of your past too, of my past, of our past. And God has given us a new day, a new beginning, a new future. So we have to just be embracing our future and our present, moving forward into the calling that God has given us. Verse 20, so Moses took his wife and sons and put them on a donkey and started back to Egypt. But yes, wait for one sentence that is really remarkable. It says, and he took the staff. Wow, the staff that God asked him about. But this is not his staff anymore. It says he took the staff of God in his hand. So this is very special because now Moses is holding God's staff, not just Moses' shepherding staff. Is an instrument, a tool, has become God's tool, God's resource, God's ability in Moses' hand. So I would like to encourage you to think about those many gifts and talents and trainings that you had and you have, and that you can use in God's hands, that you can put in God's hands and to be used by God in a remarkable way. You know, this simple instrument of shepherding a flock now becomes the leading point, the staff that will bring the people of God out of slavery. You can think about things that you have been given, skills that you have been given, that you probably have been overlooking, and now God might be asking you to use for his glory. So Moses went and delivered the people of Israel from the slavery in Egypt. And he did that trusting in a God that calls us out from our defeat, from our failure, from our past, and bring us into a new future, of a new way of possibilities and new dreams to rebuild our lives, to rebuild our pain, so that from our pain we can build new beginnings for ourselves and for others. I hope you have a great day today, and you remember that you matter, that your talents matter, your skill matters, your experience, your story matters, and you can be a blessing in God's hands if you allow God to do so. This is Dr. Alfredo Delgado speaking to you in Southern California. May the Lord bless you, and if you think this conversation was a blessing to you, share it with other people so that they can be blessed too. May God be with you. Amen.